Okay, welcome to the elimination method to find x and y. So I'm using the exactly same example to find x and y, but using a different method. So right here we have two steps as well. The first one is to put x or y with the same number. What do I mean by this is that, okay, for example, you see, in the first equation, we have 1y and 1x. And the second equation, we also have 1x and 1y. So are they in the same number? Yes, because x and x have 1, y and y have 1. Actually, we just focus on either one. So in this case, I'm gonna put my focus on x. So as long as x has the same number in front of them, we are done with the first step. And then what about the second step? Okay, so we're gonna rearrange them in an organized manner so that you can easily see the pattern. So I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna copy down this equation and I just indicate as the first equation, and the second equation I'm gonna write it in a similar way. So I'm gonna move things around. So x is still x, and if I want to put y beside x, what I'm gonna do is minus y, because plus y move to the right, you get minus y, right? And if I want to move the 2 away from x, so it's gonna be negative 2. So here we got the second equation. So as stated in step 2, we have to minus the first equation to the second equation. So we're gonna use the first equation to minus the second equation. Okay, so how do we minus them? Actually, just use x minus x. Okay, what I'm doing right here is about this part and this part. Then later on, I'm gonna copy down plus y and minus negative y. Okay, why do I write this? Because I use first to minus the second one, right? So the x right here, I just copy down, then minus x. Then y, I just copy down, minus this whole thing, okay? So it has to be y minus y, or you call it negative y, it doesn't matter. As long as there are two negative signs, because initially in the equation, the y is not positive, it is already negative. So that's why we have two negative, because the first negative is here, the second negative is here. Okay, are you clear? Then we move on the right side of the equation, there are numbers. So the first equation we have 10, and then minus the second equation we have negative 2. So remember, negative has to be included in the equation. Okay, so the first one minus the second one. So that's what we call the first equation minus second equation. So after you have copied down this whole general statement, it's time for us to solve it. So let's take out the bracket first. X minus x plus y. Until this part, we just copy down, no problem. And as you have learned earlier, minus minus, you get plus. Okay? And then 10, just copy down, minus minus, you get plus again. So this time we are really ready for solving it. X minus x, you get 0. It's just like 1 apple minus 1 apple, you have nothing left. And then banana plus banana, you got 2 bananas. And then you just solve it. And then the 2 move to the right hand side, what do? Yes, you divide it. So it is something like this. Okay, so the final answer is y. Same as the substitution method. Do you stop here? No, you don't stop here, because the x, we don't know the value of x yet. So we gotta try with the x. So you can simply choose whether you like first one or the second one. So for me, I'm gonna use the first one. X plus y equals to 10. So we already know that y equals to 6. So let's just replace y with 6. And so we can find x. So 10, we move the 6 to the right hand side, it becomes negative 6 or minus 6, and you get 4. So this is how we use the elimination method to find x and y. And so let's revise again. The first step is to put either x or y with the same number. In this case, you can actually straight away skip to the second step because the equation already gives you same numbers of x and y, so there's no need for you to change it to the same number. And the second step is for you to use the first equation to minus the second equation to eliminate the x. That is the main purpose of elimination method, because we only want to find the y or x first, so you cannot put two variables at once because we cannot solve two equations at once. We need to take out one first, then we just focus on y. After we find y, then we find x. So that's why we have to use the first equation to minus the second equation, because we want to use x minus x so that the x cannot kacau them anymore. We just take it away, left it becomes 0, and then you can focus on how to solve the y. So that is the main purpose of the whole thing, in order for you to find x and y.